in. So today I want to talk about something I feel like I haven't shared enough. And I'm almost finding that I like don't give myself enough credit for this, but it's so true in like who I am. And there's so many other women or other people out there, including you guys possibly like this, that I feel like this is a huge, huge key to to how I can help you guys, because I want to share all of the things that I am doing, which, hey, Larissa, hey, Kristen, thanks for hopping on. Because there's a lot, and I feel like I don't share that enough. I feel like I kind of have like different pockets of like people and stuff like that, and they kind of know like a few of the things I do, or they know one of the things I do, but like not kind of all encompassing. And I want to share this because I want to make a point that you can be multi-passionate, whether you're a business owner, whether you're just multi-passionate in hobbies that you do, if it's just in life in general, like whatever it is, you can be multi-passionate and you can be productive at the same time. I know that there's so many studies out there that say, okay, this is kind of the same and kind of different, so bear with me, but like multitasking in general can feel like being multi-passionate, and there's so much there's a lot of studies and other things done on how you shouldn't multitask. And I feel like that, especially in the business world, can get really comparable to being multi-passionate, because people say that, just like multitasking, that like you can't focus on one thing if you're doing too many other things. Whereas if you're multi-passionate, like you'll never be really good at something, because you're just going to be kind of like, okay at a lot of things, which can potentially be true, but depending on the type of person you are and where your passion really lies, there's definitely like, you can definitely be productive and multi-passionate. And I want to share a little bit of just kind of my behind the scenes to show you how multi-passionate I am. Like I said, this is truly, truly who I am. So you're going to probably be surprised by a few things that I feel like I haven't shared here. But being multi-passionate, give you a little bit behind the scenes about all of the different things that I do, but also I want to show you a little bit, kind of go into how I manage everything and how I stay, not where I don't get into that state of overwhelm. Sometimes that happens, but there's definitely things that I do and processes and practices that I've developed so that I don't get overwhelmed, or so that I don't go down that road, and how I keep my mind set up and things like that. So I've talked a lot about how to kind of save your time and energy, like where to spend it, how to get it back, things like that. I've talked about that a lot lately. I've talked a lot about your mindset and your mindset practices, and how to pull yourself, up when you feel like you're spiraling and stuff like that. Those are definitely huge pieces to how I stay productive. But I want to go into, just so you can see all of the multi-passionate things that I do, and then also just so you can find yourself in the story, because I know that there's a lot of you who, maybe you work a day job and you're wanting to start a business. Maybe you just need more time for like your hobby or your family, or you just feel like you don't have enough time for different things, kind of like I was talking about with the time and energy piece. That's a huge part to this. Or maybe you just want to try something new, whether it's a hobby, maybe it's just getting back into an old hobby that you used to do. Maybe it's taking time for yourself in different ways. Maybe it is building that business. Maybe it is building that second business like I have. So I want you to kind of find yourself in this story and figure out the different things that you want to do, whether you relate to being multi-passionate or not. Even if you don't identify as being multi-passionate, there's different things that you can spend your time and energy on and be productive at the same time. And there, so often we just get so overwhelmed with so many things that we're not able to really do that effectively. So a little behind the scenes of all the things that I do. So as you guys know, I've shared multiple times, I left my day job in December. So before then, and also about almost 2 years ago now, is when I was finishing up my master's. So for a while I was, working full time. When I was in school, I was always working full time. So I always had those to balance, which if any of you are in school or are in school, you definitely know the struggles to that, just getting homework done, writing papers, and trying to balance your day job plus family life and trying to have a life of your own. So that was my life for a long time. Plus, on top of that, I did have my photography business started. So I started my photography business almost 6 years ago now, which is exciting. It'll be 6 years in July. And yeah, so for a few years, I was really, getting that started. I started it in 2013 when I was finishing up my bachelor's. And really, like when I was doing my master's program, I was trying to grow my photography business. I was definitely working full time. In between, I was kind of, I had changed jobs. I was temping for a while and then got another job. So like there were lots and lots of changes there. In the midst of that, that's really when I started to develop the idea for this business, which is partially why it took me so long to get started. Because I had so many other things going on that really took priority, but also because of many other reasons, mostly my limiting beliefs that I didn't think I was ready or I didn't think I was good enough yet. And I kept second guessing myself. That's a story for a different day. But I kind of had a lot of these pieces kind of floating around. Plus, that was in that same kind of core time. That was when I met my now husband and we were dating and then we got married. So planning a wedding. Kind of in between all of that, I was definitely trying to grow my photography business at that time because that was when I started to have that goal of leaving my day job. So really trying to grow my business and learn business so that I could, because when I hopped into my photography business, I had no idea what I was doing. I really learned by trial and error. And I really just threw myself into it. And I was going to school for business, but most of what they were teaching in my classes was like, organizational change or policies or laws or basically how to keep running a business or how to go through change and stuff like that, but not a whole lot on how to start a business. So on the side, I found myself really having to kind of go to other courses or other offers and things like that online that were going to help me build my business while I was kind of doing all of these other things. So fast forward to last year, beginning of the year, so beginning of 2018, I had really decided, I was working with a coach, my first coach that I was working with, and I had told her, like, my big goal is to leave my day job. Like, I want to focus on my businesses full time. At that time, that's really when I started getting this business going and diving into this while I was still kind of maintaining / slightly growing my photography business at the same time. Obviously, I knew I had to do both in order to leave, in order to bring in that income and things like that. So very busy on that end, but I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but that's my goal. And I've shared a couple times, but I'll kind of share it quickly. Is that was my goal. I was working with her. I was running my photography business. Fast forward to kind of like summer of 2018 and fall. So in the summer, I got invited to go to Vegas to shoot the National Karaoke Championships, which I didn't even know existed, which was pretty crazy. And that had led me to connecting with the world producer and then getting invited to shoot the World Karaoke Championships in Helsinki, Finland, which was completely like not something I even had, like it was not a goal because I didn't even know it existed. It was just something that kind of happened and it was exciting and definitely a huge step to why I left last year and like why the date was then. So I was definitely running my photography business. I was growing with all of these different opportunities that were handed to me. Plus I had a really busy wedding season in the fall, which was great. But like I said, I was also working full time and I was also, active in this group. I was on the back end of my coaching business, really developing different courses. I know last summer and fall, I also launched my Kickstart program, my 30-day Kickstart program that you guys have seen. That's when I was really working on building the concept, doing all the videos, really getting the course built on the back end, let alone just kind of building the foundation for my coaching business. I've kind of rebuilt it or just redesigned it a couple different times just based on what I'm learning as I'm getting further and further into this business. So I want to share this piece because if any of you are just getting started or are thinking about getting started with your own business, I want you to know it's not something you might see this I see this so often where so many people just want to start a business to start making money tomorrow, which would be so nice, right? Like that would be great, but that's not how it works, especially when it's something that you are truly passionate about and you're building it from scratch. You really have to build that foundation first. And that's really why I designed my 30-day Kickstart program, was to help you do that. But taking my own advice, like I've definitely worked through like all of those modules that are in that course, I've done with both my businesses. So building that foundation and really figuring out, you know, who your ideal client is, like really diving into that and how to market and they're barking and playing. How to market and just like what you're going to offer, especially if you're service based. Obviously, if you're product based, there's a lot more like inventory and supplies and like where you're going to sell it, like location, distribution, like stuff like that you have to think through. But when it's service based, there's so much more that you have to create and establish for yourself, like with your processes and your procedures. And there's just a lot of stuff on the back end is basically what I'm getting to, that you need to document and just have figured out so that you can deliver that service over and over and over again, where, you know, you are going to tweak it and change it, especially as you're starting. But overall, like you want to be able to deliver that service in a consistent way. So in order to do that, there's a lot of back end work that you need to do. So that's what I spent a lot of time on last year while, like I said, working my full-time day job, definitely going through wedding season, launching that Kickstart program. I did do a beta test. A couple of you ladies were in it last year to kind of run through and test it and just go through the course, which was great. And then like redeveloping that and deciding on where to go from there. So there's a lot of pieces. So yes, I have 2 businesses. I did decide to, with that opportunity to go to Finland, I decided I really didn't have to, sorry, getting ahead of myself. I really wanted to go over there. Obviously, I would be there for the week to shoot the finals. But when you're over in Europe, if you've traveled to Europe before, it's kind of silly to not go anywhere else if you're already going to be over there. So I really wanted to, Scott was going to come with me and we were going to make a trip out of it. So I really wanted to be over there for at least 2 weeks. And I didn't really have 2 weeks at my day job. And I really just started thinking like, this is a huge, huge opportunity. Like if I can do this while balancing all of these things, like what can I do with this business if I spend all my time and energy on it, right? And like leave my day job. So that was really my thinking process of like why then and why it worked. It wasn't so much like, okay, I'm making great money, like I can leave my day job, or you know, there's just so much more to consider than you think until you get there. So that was really my thinking about when I left. So I ended up putting in a month's notice just to kind of help my job out because we were a super small team. And when I left, I had a week to kind of get things ready for the trip. And then we left for the trip and we were gone for exactly 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, something like that. And then I came back and I was just going to, I say just, but I was focused now on my 2 businesses. So on top of that, so basically like that's kind of the backstory to like where I am now. But I have my photography business Underexposed, like I've kind of mentioned, I've had for just about 6 years. So I'm definitely continuing to grow it. It's because I'm doing it full time. It's never really something that I can just let like just maintain anymore. Like I really have to continue to grow it and break into just really network with people and keep getting like new customers. So you're continually growing it. So I have my photography business. I have this business, which I'm continuously developing different courses or programs and different offers and things like that to help you guys either achieve your goals, work on your mindset, or build your business. So I'm really excited about that. And a lot of my time and energy really goes into this, especially since I still consider it a very new business since I've only had it for, really diving into it, I would say just over a year, even though it was kind of like an idea for like the last 4 years. So I'm maintaining both of my businesses. I also, because so there's a lot of like money stuff that comes up, right? So working on your money mindset, I decided that I didn't want to put pressure on both of my businesses, since I'm passionate about them, to really like rely on, obviously it's a big chunk of my income, but just to rely on only those for my income to pay my bills and things like that. So I have started to do some virtual assistant work. If you guys don't know what that is, it's basically just like assisting businesses or people online, which is really nice, versus being like at an office. So same idea, same kind of concept, just online, which is great. I've worked with a VA before, who was actually in Australia. So now I'm doing it for a couple other coaches. I actually had them find me, which was really cool, but I'm working with 2 coaches that I'm VAing and doing some project management work for. And then I'm doing one kind of a single project for another gentleman who lives in Hawaii. So that's awesome. But that's kind of like what I picked up on the side. So I'm managing, definitely growing both of my businesses, plus those 3 projects. 2 of them are ongoing. One of them is just about a month-long contract project. So that's really what I'm doing for income. On the side, like other than that, if you guys don't know, I kind of share pictures here and there, but I do sing with my husband, which is a lot of fun. I've been singing since I was about 16, and, was doing a lot, kind of fell away from it, came back to it, things like that. But it's always been a huge part of my life. So I've tried to keep music somehow part of my life. And I have started to, hey, Amber, thanks for hopping on. We've started to play as a duo, which is a lot of fun, and kind of getting some more gigs here and there for that. I am also actually going to Florida next week for vacation / we will actually be playing down there in Florida at the resort. It's me and my husband and a couple other guys, kind of a put together band, that we're gonna go down there, and we play for like an hour a night, and we get to stay there. So going to Florida to play or to sing, play music, that is another thing that I do. I also sing with him, like usually like one song or like here and there with his solo project Spiral Cell. With all of his music business stuff, like that's all he does. I've definitely kind of stepped in a lot last year and this year to help him with his marketing and the back end business work. So I got like the 17 Hats program, which I absolutely love. If you guys need like a CRM, like a client management system, bookkeeping, contracts, like things like that, like a system for that. I've added his businesses into that program as well, so that I can help him with like his contracts and his booking and like dates and invoices and things like that. So a lot of the back end work that I help him on. That's something, that's kind of why I went toward the VA and project management work, just kind of on the side. So like aside from my 2 businesses, I feel like I have a side hustle too, because I'm just really good at like building systems so that you can continue to like keep doing other things. So a lot of times you'll hear this is you're able to scale whatever you're doing. You can scale your business, you can scale your income, like whatever that is, because you have systems in place that make it easier for you to do so. So you don't spend as much time on those things since you have the systems in place, so you're able to focus on continuing to grow and build and things like that. So that's what I'm really good at. And that's a huge piece of like what makes me so productive, being multi-passionate. Let alone, so like those are kind of the big things I do. And then I definitely, like, especially as I've left my day job, I've had to kind of restructure my day and figure out how to just build a morning routine, what my day is going to look like. I definitely try to leave a lot of time just for me, just doing some self-care and indulging in things. I try to go for a run every morning, which I also do like an active meditation with, and take the dogs on a walk. And it's usually gorgeous out. It's like raining today, but that's a great way that I kind of get in some me time, if you will, and just time for me to enjoy. Plus just spending time with all of our animals. If you guys don't know, we have 2 dogs, 4 turtles, and a horse. So animals are a huge part of our life, and just being able to spend time with them, and spend time with Scott and go on date nights or just have time to ourselves too, and not just always be working, which can sometimes be hard because if you are multi-passionate and you have multiple things going on, you can basically you can work 24/7, but you kind of have to break out of that so that you can stay in that, that positive place. You can stay refueled, you can stay energized, motivated, in order to do your best things. So I definitely try to build a lot of self-care into my day. And also, I've mentioned a couple times, I'm in a mastermind program myself. So I'm working with another coach there's 9 of us, women business owners in this mastermind, that I spend time chatting with every single week too. So kind of just on top of that, for my personal development and growth, as well as my business, that's another piece that I have. And then kind of in addition to that, I do love to paint. If you guys can't tell with all the stuff behind me, that's kind of something I just do for me. I love to go to Canvas and Cocktails. I love to just paint at home, which I haven't done lately. I need to do. And just a lot of art stuff. I am definitely very artsy. But anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of all of the different things that I balance basically on a daily basis. There's so many things that, so many pieces of those I am definitely fully passionate about. I love photography. I love business in general. I love owning my own businesses. I love coaching. Oh my gosh. I love doing what I do through this group and with my clients, and the ways that I'm able to help other people grow has always been a passion of mine. So this is super fulfilling for me. I love being able to sing, especially from a no pressure standpoint. I'm not relying on that, but it's nice that I actually do get to make a little bit of money doing it, but also that I just get to still do it, which is really nice. And honestly, something I didn't know that I would, till I met my husband, because I kind of fell away from it for a while. But yeah, so on a daily basis, you have to manage all of these things in order to be good and, be consistent and continue to grow them and be productive and continue to be motivated with them too. There's a lot of pieces to it. And, if you're like me in any sense, if you even have 3 things going on at the same time or whatever it is, it can get hard to manage because it does seem overwhelming. When I write out my to-do lists, or when I just brain dump a to-do list, it can be pages long because it's what do I need to do for this business? What do I need to do for this business? What do I need to, I need to practice the songs for next week. I need to practice the songs for Saturday. I need to finish a couple projects plus a website that I took on earlier this year. There's a lot of stuff on my to-do list, no, I'm not gonna lie. And there's times that I look at it and I do feel a little bit overwhelmed, but it's how I manage it through the day to not feel so overwhelmed and definitely to actually get things done, which is so nice. So I'm going to share a couple things that are kind of just off the top of my head, of kind of just my thought process and how I do manage this every single day and don't go crazy. But I do stay productive. This week has been really great for being productive because we are leaving on vacation next week. So I'm having to get a lot of things done. Plus, so the end of this month, which is so crazy because it's still the beginning of the month, we go to Florida next week for a full week. I come back for 2 days, and then I'm going to California for 5 days for our mastermind retreat. We have a retreat at Venice Beach, which I'm really, really excited about, to hang out with my mastermind sisters and just dive more and more into my business and take the time for that. Plus, I may have stayed an extra day and a half just to enjoy the beach. So I'm really excited about that. Like I said, you can be productive and still enjoy at the same time. But kind of a couple tips, if this is you, I just want to give you something to take away, how I manage this on a daily basis. One of the things, first of all, I live off of my Google Calendar, but I also have a written planner that really helps just so I can still check things off. I love being able to physically check things off. So that really helps me. And every night before I go to bed, that's the last thing I do before I go to bed is I look at my calendar, I look at my day planner and figure out what I'm going to work on the next day so that the next morning I can wake up, do my morning routine, and then get straight to work. I don't have to be what do I want to work on today? What should I work on? What don't I want to work on? Which happens often, but if it's right there, I don't even have to spend that time and energy to think about it. It's literally just what I do. which has been super helpful for me for this week since I have so many things that I have to finish. I know what I need to get done for this week. I know what I'm going to work on that next day, and I can just sit down and start doing it. I've really tried to limit myself on the amount of time I'm spending on it. So like for my VA projects, or project management stuff, I have to track my time because I am paid hourly. So that definitely makes me like no distractions. Like I set my timer, I'm working. If I have to pause, I'll stop the timer, and like go do whatever I need to do. But usually I try to just stay true to the timer, get it done, get it knocked out. So that's been really nice. If it is a project for myself, I, schedule it on my calendar so that, I'm giving myself an hour for this, or I'm giving myself 2 hours because I know it's going to take longer. A lot of the times projects run over. I would like to be able to edit, 1,000 photos in 2 hours, but depending on the edits or what I need to do, that definitely doesn't always happen. Sometimes it takes like double or triple that, unfortunately. So sometimes you don't know, but the better you can try to, hit your, like, how long is this going to take? How long did it take me before? And just to know kind of those projects and that timing, you can kind of set it in your calendar that way. If something overlaps, that's the first thing that you work on the next day. That's kind of how my brain works during the day to get projects done. I do still, like I said, even though I have like things kind of back to back, or I have tons of projects that I'm working on, it's so funny. There's so many people that say like you should do like have on your to-do list only 3 things a day, which I think is a good idea if you're not a multi-passionate person. If you're multi-passionate, it's more like 6, which is very true. And no, you don't always get them all done, but I definitely feel like I do more in a day, especially depending on the project. And like I said, if I don't get it done that day, it's the first thing on the list for the next day. And something else I was going to say about that, and I totally forgot. It'll come back. But so just having those things, like that list. Oh, so like having 6 things in a day, there's still time that I set in between those, or just little things that I do for myself during the day, especially since I'm home most of the time, where I can still get my self-care in while I'm doing that. So like this morning, I decided to, like, usually when I'm editing, I look over there because the couch is over there. Usually when I'm editing photos or working on something that I can like potentially watch TV with, that doesn't, like, where I'm not writing or like really having to focus, or doing like a video call or something like that, I will sit on the couch with my laptop under the super soft blanket that we have, which I absolutely love. And usually I'll like get, a cup of tea, or I'll make my smoothie, or like whatever it is, so that I'm cozy and I feel taken care of there. I definitely did that today. I love doing that because that blanket is awesome. And also that is definitely, especially editing photos, I'm sure you guys all have like your TV show that you just love to watch, or that you're kind of addicted to. Not gonna lie, I definitely still make time for that. I don't have a ton of shows that I watch. It used to be Criminal Minds, and I've definitely gone through those over and over and over. Now, actually, one of the characters started a different TV show, and it's called SWAT, and I absolutely am in love with the show. Plus, it's kind of like eye candy, so it's a good one. But there's like 2 more seasons left in this, or sorry, 2 more episodes left in the season. So I'm kind of going back through and like rewatching them until I get to the next one. So like while I'm editing photos, when I'm not tracking my time, but still like, trying to do it quickly, I will watch kind of the reruns of that show. I will say I do set time on like so it comes out on Thursday, but like I watch it on the Friday because that's when it comes out on Amazon Prime. So I set time Friday evening for like an hour, like I just sit and watch that show because that's my thing. So like you still have to make, Kristen, I didn't know you liked that show. I am obsessed with that show. I feel like I'm blushing because like seriously, I'm obsessed with that show. I love that show. But you still, even if you're busy, even if you have a ton of things on your to-do list, you really have to still set time for yourself. And there's little ways that you can do that, whether it's watching your favorite TV show, just getting some tea. Today, I actually decided, since I was really celebrating my month of April because I hit a lot of goals, which I didn't think I was going to hit. So I actually took myself shopping today. It was only like a half-hour shopping trip, but I actually found a couple things, which is kind of surprising. so I went shopping just like randomly in the middle of the day. So there's little things that you can do that don't take a lot of time that also take care of you. And I find that that's very, very super helpful for just keeping me in a good state of mind, making me feel cared for so that I can continue to work and work and work. Because I will be honest, I don't work like 9 to 5 hours. I don't wake up super early either. So like I will kind of, wake up in the morning, do my morning routine. Sometimes I get to it by, 9, 10 o'clock. Sometimes it's more like 11 when I start my day, but then I continue to work basically until like after we eat dinner, which we eat dinner super late because Scott usually gets home late. So there's a lot, like I work long days, but that's how I continue to feel motivated and want to keep working and I don't feel exhausted, is because I do these little self-care things throughout the day, which is really fun. Yes, Kristen, I totally agree. I loved Criminal Minds. I will say the last like season or two, I didn't really watch with all the new characters, but yeah, SWAT is great also because hard eyes. Totally agree. Definitely some eye candy in there. Anyway, so that's a huge piece to it. The other piece that I have done a blog post on, and I'll probably touch more on this if this is of interest to you guys, is really how, like, what I focus on, like knowing how and what and how to focus on what you should be focused on. I hope that made sense. Basically, like taking your like massive to-do list and realizing what you should be working on, what you should be focused on, and what you shouldn't do at least right away, or what you should just take off your list, like the things that you don't have to do. This was a huge, huge piece for me to actually be productive and move the needle forward in my businesses, because there's so many things, especially if you're just getting started with your first business, if you want to start your second business, whatever it is. But this was a huge, huge thing that I needed to really work on to get there, because it's hard. There's so many different things that you can, hey, Katie, there's so many different things that you can work on for building a business. There's so many parts and pieces that you feel like you have to do, when really you don't have to do all of those things. You can, like, it's what you have to, the big pieces that you really need to focus on in order to actually move you forward, which are very different than what you might be doing. And I'll be honest, like I definitely, especially when I was first starting my photography business, there were a lot of the little things that I was focused on that I shouldn't have been, that really didn't make any difference, or things that I continued to work on that weren't effective or weren't actually producing some type of results, usually bringing in income or attracting new clients or things like that. So there's a lot of things that there's just so much noise and so many ideas on how to build your business or how to grow your business and bring in more customers or how to do your marketing. There's so many different options and you don't have to do them all, but it's figuring out the ones that work for you and then focusing your time and energy only on those things. And sometimes that's really hard, because a lot of that is like for my photography business, a lot of that has become like networking and partnering with different other businesses and other people and really spreading the word. And I am such an introvert. I hate networking, but I have to do it. So there are a lot of the times we'll procrastinate and put things off, which is why having that list of like those 6 things to do for the day, like I know I have to get those done. And if I don't get them done today, I definitely have to do them tomorrow. Or if I have a deadline, like if I have to deliver the photo shoot, or if I have to, XYZ, whatever it is, you still have to get it done. So otherwise it's not going to work out. So those are a couple of the tips. I hope that was helpful. Like I said, they were just kind of off my head, but that's really the pieces that I focus on a daily basis, on how I manage all of the different things that I do and don't get overwhelmed and stay productive. So I would love to hear from you guys. I know this got a little long, so thank you for sticking with me. I would love to hear from you guys if you yourself, if you think that you are multi-passionate, if you identify with that, if you're like, that is totally me, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, it's totally fine. If you're a multi-passionate person, I definitely want to know, because I definitely want to connect with you and see how I can support you. This is definitely something, like I said, like this is me to a T. I just didn't realize, I didn't give myself enough, what's the word? I just don't give myself enough credit for all of the different things I do. It's just like, this is what I do on a daily basis. And sometimes I didn't realize that, but there's so many of you guys too who are multi-passionate and you don't know how to do all of those things and be productive, or, you know, how to just stay organized, or how to build your business, or how to build your second business, or there's so many things that you might want to do. So I know there's so many words that are coming out of my mouth. I want to know if you are multi-passionate, or if there's, even if there's, like I said, there's just a couple things that you want to do, but you're still having a hard time juggling them all. That's totally, totally fine. I want to know kind of the things that you are juggling or are wanting to juggle. If you do want to start that business or that second business, if there's a new hobby that you want to pick up, if there's, you know, whatever it is, I want to know the things that you're working on or want to be working on, and how I can support you. Like, where are you struggling with that the most? Is it not feeling like you have enough time? Is it knowing the things that you need to be focused on? Is it just like simple productivity tips? I say simple, they're really not simple, but just like productivity tips. Is it how to manage multiple projects and different things that I do? If you guys can see, I actually use a Kanban board, which I brought back. I used to use this at work all the time, but it was something that really worked for me. So I have a lot of different systems that also help me. But like I said, like, systems are kind of my thing. Like, that's how I keep myself organized. So if you guys have system questions about things in your business so that you can scale your business, or you have even just for your life, like, I use that totally for just like daily stuff. And things like we need to do, like even go to the grocery store, or if we have something coming up, you know, that we need to attend, or things like that. So I would love to hear from you guys. Like, what are you struggling with juggling multiple things and being multi-passionate? How can I help you? How can I support you? Because you guys hear me say this all the time, but I truly want to know, like, what input can I give you? What can I teach you? What can I add to my, you know, programs and services and things like that to better support you guys in what you are doing, so that you are able to be more productive while being multi-passionate, or, you know, just achieve those big goals that you have for yourself and build your business, or build just the life that you want to live. So I'm going to leave you on that. Definitely let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know where you're at. Let me know what you're struggling with and how I can support you. Other than that, thank you guys so much for joining. I will definitely be in here following up with you guys. So if you are watching the replay, I will circle back and follow up with you. So let me know. I look forward to hearing from you guys and hearing what you guys are multi-passionate about, or what you're working on, or what you want to be working on. So have a great night, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.